Hey team, welcome to Monday, second week of your challenge. Really awesome to see you guys in here doing such a great job, smashing it every day. I'm proud, our trainers are proud of you. You guys are doing awesome, so keep up the good work. Today, I just wanted to have a little chat to you and bust some myths. So I thought Myth Busting Monday would be the theme of today's video. So we've already had a few questions which we've answered, so thanks Luke for jumping on board there. But basically I've got a few myths in front of me that I personally as a trainer believe is a myth, and I'm sure most of my other trainers would agree. But if you guys are on board, if you're online, sorry, jump on board and we can answer them as we go. So the first thing I wanted to discuss was scales. So it's the myth of how much you weigh. Hey Dan. It's the myth of how much you weigh determines how healthy you are, so obviously things like BMI. Now, personally I believe that this is a myth for a couple of reasons. First of all, BMI is a measure of your weight versus your height. It doesn't take into account your body composition. Hey Ariana. So if you are very fit, very muscly, very active person, and you know, you have quite a high percentage of muscle mass yet you're quite short, it's going to say that you have a high BMI rating, which is going to put you in an overweight or obese category. Now, that doesn't mean you're actually overweight or obese, it just means that you have a high percentage of muscle mass. So for that reason, I'm not a huge fan of BMI. Something much more accurate would be like in-body scans, where you literally jump on and it measures the whole body reading, or the most accurate is obviously floating in the water. They've got a special way of doing it, but for the majority of us that's a little bit expensive, so I would stick with the in-body scans, but also with scales. So if you aren't losing weight and your goal is fat loss, I would not be worrying too much about what the scale is doing. Obviously, because your trainers will know, they will tell you this, when you are weight training, you naturally will build a little bit of lean muscle, which is going to weigh. So you're not necessarily going to lose weight on the scales. What you want to be focusing on is losing body fat, and that's where, again, things like caliper readings and your in-body scan will definitely help things along. So that was the first myth. If you guys have any questions or any comments at all, just post them below. We can chat as we go. So the second one is the idea of lifting weights for women, that you will bulk up. Now, I can promise you that unless you are on gear and you're an unnatural athlete, you are not going to bulk up. Like women especially, we just do not have the testosterone. Hey Sarah. We do not have the testosterone to just get big and bulky. And I mean, oh yeah, you share those love hearts. I know for a fact this, like when I first got into training, I wasn't too sure around, you know, whether that was true or not. But I can honestly tell you, like having squatted like 80 kilos and that my legs never got massive, we just don't have the testosterone in us. And you ask any female trainer, they will agree. Unless you are taking gear, as a natural athlete, for a female, you will not bulk up. Yes, genetics can come into play, and you know, if you have certain genetics, you may have the tendency to put on more weight and more muscle mass, but you aren't just going to turn into the Incredible Hulk from doing a few squats. Sadly, I wish that was kind of the case. That would make life a lot easier for us, but it's not. So fear not, ladies. Lift all the weight you want. It is the best thing you can do for your body composition. You will get fit, toned, look good, and trust me, so much better for your body than just doing steady state cardio every day. Obviously we need the balance of the two, but always go for those weights. Third one, spot reducing. So it is impossible to spot reduce. If you're wanting to work on your six-pack, you're wanting that, you know, typical toned tummy, which we see and we get quite a lot when people come to the gym, that's something they want. Doing crunches endlessly is not going to do anything except give your chiro a really good build, pretty much, because basically you're not going to spot reduce fat on your tummy. What that requires is it requires a really good diet, it requires hard work in the gym, heavy compound lifts, working with your trainer to do things like squats, deadlifts, lunges, you know, a bit of cardio where you need, but you can't just spot reduce. Same for triceps. That seems to be a common thing that ladies want to focus on. Doing tricep kickbacks all day isn't going to build and tone up that area. You need to be doing things like push-ups, pull-ups, anything that really utilizes more than one muscle at a time. And your diet, of course, that is the other side of the equation. So you want to make sure that your diet is on point. If spot reducing worked, the whole world would look amazing from all these gimmicks that are constantly brought out to, you know, work only your abs or work only this area. So just trust your trainer, trust their programs, because we're all qualified for a reason. When we study this, we study the science, we study the body, the way it's supposed to move, the way it works, and we can obviously make sure that your program is tailored to you and it is not something generic. So ask your trainer for that one. What else? Sweat. So quite often people feel if they don't sweat during a workout, they don't work hard enough. That isn't true. I mean, if you go to Antarctica and you do 1,000 squats, you're probably going to work pretty hard, but you might not sweat because you're cold. So sweat is just your body's way of thermoregulation, basically. Hey Sally. Sweat is just a way of your body getting rid of excess heat. That's why in the summer we sweat more and in the winter we don't. And I know for a fact, and you know, you guys, if you've been through it, jump on board as well, but I've had some really, really good sessions in winter and not sweated at all. But I know I've worked super, super hard, and that's just because it's cold. Your body is trying to, you know, preserve heat. It's not going to lose water to cool you down. So if you don't freak out, if you go to the gym and you feel you're working hard but you're not sweating, you know, that's okay. It's your body's way of cooling you down. It doesn't mean you're burning more calories. That's like things like hot yoga. Yes, they can be great for your muscles and your tendons and all that jazz because you're working out in a warm environment, but they're not necessarily going to make you burn more calories than just doing it not hot. Okay, you might burn a little bit more, but it's not going to be a drastic difference in your training. So if that's something that you like, keep it in there. Otherwise, don't. What else do we have? If you guys have any questions, by the way, just comment below. Any myths that, or things that you've always wondered and you're not sure whether they're true or what the science is behind them. Skinny teas, one of my favorites. So skinny teas, well, yeah, I mean, that pretty much says it all. Skinny teas, they don't really do much unless you are eating less than 1,000 calories a day and you happen to be sipping on your skinny tea. Yeah, okay, you'll lose weight from a calorie deficit in your diet, but at the end of the day, the properties in skinny teas, you might find they have things like Garcinia cambodia, or what else do they put in? Fennel, anything that detoxifies the body. If you've got a liver, then that's all, you know, you've kind of got that built in, which is a bonus. But anything that promotes fat loss from a tea or whatever, yeah, personally, in my professional opinion, I think it's a load of rubbish. It might have some properties in it that will help with your metabolism, but that doesn't mean that by drinking this cup of tea, automatically you're going to shed those pounds, especially if your diet is still consisting heavily of burger fuel, you know, or BK. You need to make sure that your diet is clean, consists of whole, unprocessed foods, and that, you know, any teas or anything that you are having in your diet, that's just an added benefit. It doesn't mean that, you know, it's going to be the magical thing. So save your money, because I know these things are expensive, and the way that they market them comes across as being like the ultimate fix. But trust me, again, if it was that easy, the whole world would be in amazing shape. So just stick with hard training, good exercise, smart programming from your personal trainer, and you'll be fine. Sarah, I was quite sore when I started a few days ago, but now I don't get that sore. Is that just my body adjusting? Yeah, absolutely. So if you find that when you first start training you get quite sore, that's just what we call DOMS. So it stands for delayed onset muscle soreness. It's basically just a build up of lactic acid in the muscle. Your body's doing something it doesn't normally do. It's just getting used to the actions. So it's like anything in life. If we do something we haven't done before, it's going to take a bit of adjusting to get used to, and that's just the body getting used to it. Then after a while, if you're training the same, you know, every day, you're doing the same weights, the same reps, your body gets accustomed to that. That's that's why we tend to persuade people to HIIT training versus steady state cardio, because your body adapts to it very fast. So if you're finding you're not as sore the next day, again, that doesn't mean you haven't worked out as hard enough. It just means that your body is adapted to that. So that is quite a good indicator of good recovery. And then, yeah, you could look at stepping it up to the next level. But basically, it just means your body is used to what you're doing. That doesn't mean it's not effective. It just means you are getting used to it and you're recovering well. If you find that you are constantly sore, that doesn't mean also that you're making new progress or new gains as such. It could just mean that there's something off in your recovery. You know, your nutrition may not be on point, you may not be sleeping the best, you may not be having enough water, magnesium, all these little things as well. So muscle soreness can be an indicator of recovery, and yeah, it doesn't just equate to, you know, working hard. I mean, I know I've had workouts where I haven't been sore and I've worked really hard. So again, talk to your trainer, because stuff like that is more of an individual case, and your trainer will know you best. They will know whether you are ready to, you know, intensify your training and up your weights or up your sets. Don't squat 120 kilos until I've seen your form, Sarah, just to keep your back in one piece. Do you guys have any more questions or anything? If you do, just comment them below. I know we might do this every Monday if you want, because there are so many myths and different things out there, so it is quite good to educate you guys, so you can educate your friends as well, and you know, you have an informed opinion on your training and your nutrition. Yeah, but if you've got any more questions, just comment them below. I do have to get going, get back to the desk, but I'm sure I'll answer any questions, or my trainers will. So thanks guys for tuning in, and we will chat to you throughout the week.